the tempest and calm the storm that was beginning to brew.
And Lansam, you think one thing that I think that this speech would do would also alert the people. Okay.
This morning, after the vice president.
Okay, so our colleague Obed Kingaglo is at the headquarters of the NDC. He's gauging the mood there. You can see the excitement there.
Alright, so that's one of party members of the National Democratic Congress telling us that he's extremely happy about the situation and that they are tired of the economy and henceforth they hope that things will change. Let me still engage some more people about the concession speech by the Vice President. Madam, it's saying,
because I've been a tree because the same mama power. So they say, I go probably a trouble mamma. I power to energy power. To keep by me to not touch me. It's not going to Mamma Baba Takunan. You are my stop from my because the group of my blepa. The blepa, Mama Baba Takunan. Mamma, being a den person with you, Mamma. Mamma, what's the Mamma? I want to say, yes, in my. Well, but I was stuck from my because come over to the black. To Mama Baba will cry, they knew to a second night. Am I? Because they're Baba. Because I took to point. Well, let me to point. Here, won't say Mama Ba. You say yesterday, I read am I? Well, to Mama Papa. Because I'm my papa. You don't far. Wow.
That's the break. So we are still here at the national headquarters of the National Democratic Congress, where there's full of excitement, there's full of fun here, and we are still going to engage some more members of the party. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, about the arena, papa, and about now I had here. Send our yard about out. I will declare results in the Wayadi Pa, Wayadi.
I'm the same people say, Sia, John Mama, oh, Winnie, policy bank, and I will share John Mama on ye, on Fambua, Gana mine. Anyone?
Oh, me boss in here, Fifi Quitty, me boss, you know.
Because a policy bank, Basha Bain or share our own person, ultimate disso, let's be Bragan on mine, anyone gasa.
Oh, Nakasale, 24 hours, you know. Obey, Omediso, no Jumama, now a Mebrunia Jumaya, and I don't know, meaning Assam, and a second, and more with discount, and before my discount, Manavan Hunchamo, Omutim, Massama, no, that's it.
All right, that's it. So, this party member says that he wants the president-elect to be able to fulfill his promise of the 24-hour economy that he promised during the campaign season. Let me still engage some more party members who are excited over here. You're welcome to GH1 TV.
Thank you very much, sir.
We see you're excited.
Very excited.
How you feel?
I'm overjoyed. I'm elated because we have waited for this for a very long time. And by the grace of the Almighty God, this is not a doing of man. Even though Ghanaians wanted this, but this is what God has done for us. We pleaded, we begged with God to take these people away. He has taken them away. So I am very excited. Just like everyone behind me, we are very excited.
Tell me, which of the policies of John Mahama are you looking forward to be fulfilled?
Oral. Operation Oral. We will recover everything. Even if for the next 4 years, we will not do anything. All the stolen goods, all the state capture, all the monies and the wealth they have amassed for themselves, we are going to recover it all. We made a promise to Ghanaians that we are going to recover it all. And I hope that is a promise that we are going to keep, because that is one of the policies I'm really interested in. Because we need to safeguard our nation.
Right, so let's engage some more people. We've seen Fifi Bansing showed up here. Let's find out from him what he makes of the win.
Whom you support, and also the concession speech by His Excellency Dr. Bawumia.
I think that the concession speech is a sign of magnanimity. He's done well because he signed for the peace pact, and therefore it's important that he concedes.
Yes.
Because that will bring the tensions down, like he rightly said. And for President Mahama, it tells us that, look, hard work pays. He has unfinished business. He's coming back to do that business. And for us, those of us who supported him and followed him all throughout the campaign, we knew what he was made of. Because even in 4 years, we saw what he did. So imagine him after 4 years, what he's going to do well. So we are extremely delighted, but we are humbled by the fact that Ghanaians have again given him the mandate. And you know what? Trust President Mahama. This is his last 4 years, but he will create wonders in this country.
Quite a billion attacks you would have made, is it?
Say again.
I'm saying that how should the NDC be taking this victory, also looking or taking into consideration how Hegwillian the tax ahead is?
Well, we know it's a very deep hole that has been dug for us. We know it's a very deep hole. So sometimes I even tell them that, look, it's a very deep hole. And, we need to do a lot of work. So it is not time for fantasies. It's not time. It's a lot of work ahead. And I'm telling you this without any fear of equivocation, that the president-elect is so ready for the task. And he's experienced enough to know where to plug the holes and how to move. So you know what? Trust him, he will deliver.
They've already spoiled the country.
Right, so that was Fifi Bonsing, who just spoke to the media about the excitement and the concession by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and that John Dramani Mahama is president-elect. Let me still engage some excited women over here who are jubilating. Madam,
And so those are electrifying scenes from the headquarters of the NDC in Adabraka. Very jubilant supporters of the NDC, excited about the victory of the party and the presidential candidate of the party, John Dramani Mahama. We will be going to the Ashanti region. Isaac Bediako Justice is on standby to give us a mood in the Ashanti region, which is the stronghold of the governing New Patriotic Party. Bediako, what can you tell us? Bediako, can you hear me? All right, unfortunately, Bediako doesn't seem to be able to hear it, but we'll also be going to the Volta region subsequently, which is a stronghold of the NDC, to find out what the mood is. But even though the Electoral Commission has not officially declared a single result from any of the constituencies, the two parties have been doing their own internal coalitions. Let's go back to the Ashanti region. Let's see. Bediako, can you hear me?
Currently, I'm stationed at the Askorimampong Municipal Electoral Commission's office. That is where the constituency coalition is still ongoing in the constituency. Of course, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is the MPP's presidential candidate in this election, has already conceded defeat. And this has sparked mass jubilation in the Asawase constituency. As we can see from the visuals, the parties and the supporters in the constituency are behind the EC wall, singing and dancing, jubilating, celebrating the election of former President John Dramani Mahama as president-elect in election 2024. The Asawase coalition is still ongoing. Any moment from now, we understand Alhaji Mumtaka Mubarak, the MP for Asawase constituency, will step out to come and address the media on the outcome of this constituency's parliamentary elections and the presidential elections. He will be able to tell us how much votes former President John Dramani Mahama had in this election and what he also had in the election. Now, the party supporters are here. They are singing. Let me try and speak to this woman. Mami, Mama, I tell you,
I so papa.
I need you now, Shasi.
I need you to do. Your friend, Magiara Motu. As was the Constitution organizer. Nyamia Yamaye. Nyami, what here sufre. Your friend, what you swamaye. Papa said you're gonna sit here. Anka yan chikana. Anka you baby Ebeko. Into your bumpire. Edonyamiasi. Yambo China. Emma be a kind of sorry. No muye chilwia no mundo nyamiasi ye mama ya Christianfo do mo bekọ asori ene omuko do nyamiasi enam se ye yi efiri busa fo musa nti ye do nyamiasi se ena no peyi enu echi nyina ya nda enu ya de na enamu afedie omo asan ba wumia akongoleti JM asamu asan omo sisa omunioma yesu ye mehihye ye die JM adi papa na okasa obeye no obeya ma buruso waye bida obetumi aye 24-hour economy obiya fa ni jem 24-hour economy ema ye wo bank so ye ya bank na JM di bebreye MP wo ye bidada JM odi di bank na nkasa e bebreye nti ema obiya nkanya ne ho ye bedani sika fo Ghana ye be yetima fo Ghana ye be yejuma Muankasa FM phone tomo mutumu ko bi ko fa information ya burumo etu atwa inshallah obi atumi ya muhudu kura munka obi atumi ya muhe inshallah JM odi Jumanisu, no,
thank you. So that is the Asawase constituency women organizer sharing his expectations from the NDC incoming government. The deputy Asawase constituency chairman is also here. Now we say
because me and me campaign coordinator for South constituency. And tomorrow any boy here. And as was for NDC. Yakaya aye jumadi. I'm a party abapo or mutaka win it or dramana win no. I was a ninja because election way and different. Yes, share election is carrying to money by any move. But still as was for see a honorable mutaka a John Dramani mama a NDC one no more who say on the Omani so Musama on bet me the master club again.
So that is the deputy Asawase constituency chairman. He's so excited here, celebrating the NDC's victory with his supporters, party members. We'll try and see if we can speak to the Asawase member of parliament in the person of Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak. Currently, this is the coalition room. The police personnel here are monitoring what is happening in there so that nothing unfortunate happen here. Everything has been peaceful in the Asawase constituency from their campaign activities up to now. Nothing bad has happened here. And so we're going straight into the coalition room where the security agencies and all the people here are seated. And we'll be able to see if we can speak to Honorable Muntaka and the people who are here. So that is the situation now here in the Asawase. Coalition is still ongoing. Muntaka is making a case of an issue here. So they are not yet done with their coalition. But it is clear that Muntaka is winning this Asawase constituency parliamentary election. When we checked last time, he was leading the MPP's candidate, Manaf Ibrahim, with about 10,000 votes difference. And so as at now, I cannot confirm either he has widened the gap or not, because coalition is still not complete.
has overwhelmingly rejected Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and the New Patriotic Party. They have endorsed His Excellency President Mahama with over 1.4 million votes. And that for me is a restoration that the Almighty God alone could have, provided. You remember where President Mahama is coming from. The denigration, the insult, the ridicule. And today, God in his own time has chosen to elevate him and to restore him to glory. And so, for me, what's next is for us all to rally around President Mahama to reset this country and put it back on the track of growth.
What should Ghanaians expect from the NDC government? You've made a number of promises. This is not limited to your constituency, but this is about Ghana, resetting Ghana. So in the next few years, what should Ghanaians expect from the NDC administration?
Well, you should expect honest leadership. You should expect integrity. You should expect honest leadership. You should expect integrity. You should expect us to be truthful to the people. And you should expect a leadership that will be guided by the manifesto promises that we have made to the people of Ghana. A leadership that will actually be aimed at restoring the eroded, goodwill that many people used to have of our democracy. I can bet you that Ghana will get back on the road of progress.
Okay, so as you can see in the shot here, quite a number of your supporters are on the streets of Tamale jubilating already, and sometimes the jubilations get out of hand. What would you tell your supporters as you celebrate this victory?
So for the sake of all the people of Ghana who have endured the hardship and the arrogance and the nepotism and the corruption of the New Patriotic Party, let nobody assign this victory to anyone else but the God that we all serve and His Excellency President Mahama, and also the people who queued up and showed vigilance, throughout the electoral process that has led to the conclusion that we are seeing. They deserve celebration, they deserve the glory, and they must be allowed to enjoy their flowers. Let no one attempt to assign this glory or these flowers to anybody who is especially non-deserving. I mean, the people of Ghana have endured the NPP. And you see, the outcome of the elections, the results, simply shows that the anger is across the country. It's across the country. And it has been expressed, in their votes. And we thank God for that. And we are very, very confident that we will not betray this trust that the people of Ghana has reposed in us, members of the NDC. We have to be guided. We have to be guided by the example that they have shown by kicking out the non-performing, nepotistic, corrupt NPP government.
So Alhassan Soyene, Member of Parliament for Tamale North, and in that engagement with us, he says that the NDC will not take the trust that the people of Ghana has reposed in them. And he says that they would ensure that the good people of Ghana benefit from the policies that the National Democratic Congress, through its flag bearer, promised to the good people of Ghana. So here at the Northern School of Business, the supporters of the NDC are currently awaiting the officials of the Electoral Commission to make an official declaration of the results for the Tamale North constituency. And I must say that they are trooping in their numbers, coming all the way from different communities in the Tamale North constituency to join their Member of Parliament together with the constituency executives to celebrate this particular victory. So it's all about victory for the NDC here in the Tamale North constituency. Back to you in studios, Lantam.
From the Tamale Enclave, of course, a lot
Tamale
of jubilation.
North.
Yes, Tamale North constituency. He spoke to Alhassan Suhini, who is the Member of Parliament for that area. He has retained his seat. So this would be the third time that he's going into Parliament. And we are bringing you pictures, of course, live images from Adabraka, where the NDC headquarters is. Earlier, Obed King Gaglo spoke to us. And there was a lot of jubilation. So you can see a lot of NDC supporters jubilating all over the place because John Dramani Mahama is coming back to continue his second term as President of the Republic of Ghana. And I like what Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the current Vice President of the land, has done, because now you and I were here complaining about the Electoral Commission delaying with the collation of the results.
Yeah.
Delaying with the collation of the results. And like we said, as at the last update of the Electoral Commission, they told us that not even a single result from any constituency has come to the National Collation Center. But here we have the two political parties with their own internal mechanisms collating their results, and they know where they are.
And you see, for me, what this concession speech will do or has done will now free the hands of the agents who may have been unnecessarily refusing to sign because they are yet to come to terms with the defeat. You understand?
All right, so I mean, essentially at this particular time, according to reports that we're having, because we're having reports from Nsawam Adrajiri, for example, where Etonam Kumashi reported, of course, earlier she reported that one person was shot in his thigh, right? And had reported that the EC agents have left, you know, the Constituency Collation Center, and per information that she is picking up, Frank Anodompre was refusing to sign or refusing to, you know, to concede, right? So some of those things are happening, and according to the NDC, they know that some agents or some EC officials were deliberately preventing the result from being
they've seen the margin of defeat and they were not impressed with it.
So, I mean, once Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia now has conceded defeat, that should free the hands of anybody, you know, to
because
just
even
allow it to go.
I mean, what will be your point? Even what will be your point when the person who perhaps is supposed to be the biggest beneficiary has thrown in the towel? What would be your interest? To be a simple agent and decide not to, allow the results
to go. It will be of benefit to absolutely.
And so I think it's a very good example that the Vice President, said. It was very good that the Vice President gave that concession speech at this time, and it actually makes our work easier.
It makes our work very, very easy.
We don't have to now sit here because all the way till midnight waiting for results to come in. Now, with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's concession speech, it simplifies the issue.
It simplifies everything.
We all can leave here early and get some rest before we come to work tomorrow.
We know where the chips are falling.
Absolutely.
We know exactly who is going to the Flagstaff House on 7th of January. No, it's Flagstaff. When it's NBC's Flagstaff House?
I hope we don't go through that hassle of renaming.
I know. The NDC have always maintained that it is Flagstaff House. So I'm pretty sure when John Mahama goes back to rename it Flagstaff House. But that is the situation that we have, on our hands now. Our work has been made very, very easy for us with the main man, conceding defeat, and this is, according to all indications and reports that we are getting, a very resounding victory.
And even
for John Dramani Mahama.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia acknowledged that.
Yes,
said it was a decisive victory.
A very decisive victory. And he's proven that he's a statesman, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And he's proven that he's a gentleman, because coming out like this to concede defeat at this time, when the Electoral Commission themselves do not have even a single result from any constituency.
And you see, it also goes to speak to the need or how significant it is when political parties also have their independent coalition groups.
Exactly, it helps a lot.
Because in this situation, the NPP had theirs, the NDC had theirs, and this will be the first time we will see one that has lost, referencing their internal coalition and saying that from what we have been tabulating from yesterday to today, my opponent has won decisively. Most often, what you hear the opponent say is that, pay no mind to them.
We are winning.
To the other. Yes, we are still winning. And so this we are seeing a lot of first times. And
we are seeing a lot of first.
The very first, we are going to also see a very first female vice president.
Yes, a very first. So there are a lot of firsts.
And a very first former president in the Fourth Republic to return to office.
Exactly. A lot of history has been made, right? A lot of history has been made. And you would you would imagine that the last time the NDC were being mocked for not being able to collate their own results. This time around, from their own internal results calculation, they've been able to come out emphatically and say, we've won here, we've won here, we've won there. And then the MPP follow suit. They couldn't deny it. They have come. And we were wondering earlier when we heard that Vice President Baumia was going to address a press conference. We were wondering, what kind of press conference are we going to? Is he going to concede defeat?
You see, we
were a bit skeptical.
You see,
we
were spot on.
Yeah, but we were spot on.
Just we were wondering.
We were just,
if nothing had come from the main electoral commission.
Yeah.
On what basis was it that he referenced their own internal commission? So, I mean, in that situation, should there be another time where they make reference to their internal commission? People will put criminal on it, right?
Yes,
because it shows them when they lost.
It shows them, exactly when they lost. So a lot of firsts, for this country. The first time in the history of Ghana and even the Fourth Republic that a sitting president lost, went into opposition, and has come back into office. He's now president-elect. The very first time in the history of Ghana, we have a female vice president of the Republic of Ghana, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of firsts.
And whilst you're listening to us on your screens, you're seeing jubilations in different parts of the country. One is in Accra, Adabraka, the headquarters of the NDC, and the other is in Tamale, where you see some supporters seated there in the northern region, whilst after this concession speech by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
We heard Al Hassan Suhini speak, they were talking about him. In fact, so this is a clear message, right, that Ghanaians are sending to politicians. It's a very clear message that Ghanaians are sending to politicians.
Live true to your word.
Live true to your word, because I was referring you earlier to the Afrobarometer survey that I was talking about, that people are not looking so much at the policies and the manifesto promises than the perceived integrity, character, and truthfulness of the candidates in question. And if this win is anything to go by, it means that Ghanaians now believe that John Dramani Mahama has more integrity and John Dramani Mahama is more truthful, and that is the reason why they have chosen him.
There are others who
he's more honest and he has more character.
Yeah.
And that is why they chose him.
And then there are others who also say that, when Ghanaians are tired of you, they just are tired.
They are tired.
Look, they don't care they would just give it to the next person.
Yeah.
And so it may not necessarily be that this candidate fits perfectly into their box, but they're just tired of this character, and so they just move on to the next.
Yeah. When Ghanaians are tired, this is so emphatic, and Ghanaians have sent a very clear message. So they've given John Mahama a strong mandate, and they've given him a strong parliament to back that mandate, that he has.
With the expectation that these privileges or opportunities that have been given them will not be abused.
Yes.
That you would not become what you criticized.
And it's a word of caution, really.
Absolutely.
Because even though this win is for the NDC, like we have been saying, right? Ghanaians have accepted John Mahama. Ghanaians love John Mahama. They have brought him back. But this victory for John Mahama is a strong signal to politicians that, see, you can only take us as citizens for granted for so long. When we are fed up with you, when you tell us A and you come into office and you do B, when you criticize the size of government of your opponents and you come and you have a larger size, when you say you will protect the public purse and you come and people feel that you are engaged in a lot of corruption, when people feel that you are not listening, when people feel that there is an arrogance of power, when you feel like you need to build a cathedral and Ghanaians are saying that we shouldn't build a cathedral, a whole lot of things. I mean, you can point to a whole lot of things. Essentially, the message to politicians is that when we are tired of you, we are tired of you. And it is also a signal to John Dramani Mahama and the NDC themselves that, see, we have given you the power. If you play with this power that we have given to you, and you also mess up, you can kiss your victory and the NDC goodbye. Because in 2016, Nana Akufo-Addo won handsomely and was given a big mandate by the NDC, by the people of Ghana, and he came into office. Now, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has served his 8th term. He is leaving office. But this is a verdict on his second term, especially as president of this country. A strong verdict on his second term as president of this country. You see, so it is a warning to every politician out there, and it is a caution to John Dramani Mahama and the NDC that if you come into office now and you take us for granted, you do not fulfill your promises, you come and engage in arrogance of power, and what have you, when the time is right and we are fed up with you, we will kick you out in a manner that you may not be able to recover from. That is the message. So in as much as it is victory for the NDC, it is also a word of caution to the NDC, if you ask me.
Well, Lantam, one of the things I am excited about is that our burden has been lightened.
Yes. Our burden has been lightened.
We were here lamenting about the delay.
I'll say later on, by later on today we will know.
It will be good to hear from our correspondents at the various coalitions as to whether this has doused the tensions there.
It should.
And allowed the process to move freely.
It should.
Because at this point, what else are you protecting?
It should. So if there was any tension that was building up, now the tension has been killed by Dr. Bamia, so no tension anywhere. We move. We know who has won. Let us carry on with our lives. Let us wait for 7th January 2025 to come. Let us swear former President Mahama back into office as President Mahama together with Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. And then let's move.
On the EC's schedule, they slated Tuesday, December 10 to declare the results. I'm wondering, with this concession speech,
that is 2 days away.
Would they revise it and do the?
Well, if they're able to get all the collated results in, to get all the collated results in time. So at this point in time, the EC should have, because at the last update they didn't have. By now, the EC should begin to have the constituency results coming in. But now I am also looking at the emphatic win in Parliament. According to the NDC's collated results, they say they have won 180 seats. And from the look of things, it looks like more seats will go to the NDC. Now, if the NDC are able to win 4 more seats in addition to the 180 that they say they have won, if they're able to win 4 more, in addition to the 180 that they say they have won, that gives them 2/3 majority in Parliament. And you know what a 2/3 majority in Parliament means? It means that they will not need the opposition essentially for anything. It will be such a rubber stamp. It will be such a rubber stamp. That is, if there are 4 more seats in addition to the 180 that the NDC are saying that they have won. So it will be interesting to see how the parliamentary results play out going into this particular, 4th Republic, right? Or going to this particular 9th Parliament, right? It will be very interesting to see, how it plays out. We're seeing a lot of new faces, we are told, in Parliament. It will be interesting to see who is going to be elected Speaker of Parliament. Does Alban Bagbin stay as Speaker? Does Doa Jaho come in again, as IB, suggested? What is going to happen in that regard? And for the business of Parliament, what is it going to look like? How is the opposition party going to conduct themselves, in Parliament moving forward, with regard to doing business with such an emphatic majority in Parliament? All of these questions, I believe, we're going to get a lot of answers to as the days unfold and as the president elect is ushered into office. There are so many talking points that I believe in the coming days we'll be getting into. Because history has been made. History has been made. Donald Trump in the United States of America made history with an emphatic win. It was very short. Election night in the U.S. was very short.
Absolutely.
By the wee hours of the morning, Fox News and Co. had called the election for Donald Trump.
No, he okay, so he won.
Well,
so it's the same scenario. It's the same scenario.
And in this particular, by this morning, because polls closed yesterday, and we're expecting to be here all the way maybe until Monday. But the candidate has conceded defeat, and so that is what the current situation is. And so if you just tune into GH1 television, you're seeing live video feed from the NDC headquarters at Dabraka, where NDC supporters have massed up at the headquarters. We are yet to hear from former President John Dramani Mahama. I'm pretty sure he's going to also give us a victory speech very, very soon. But Sami Jemfi has given us a precursor to that.
Lanta, let's spend a moment to talk about that poll that was done, the polls that were done by
quite a number of polls were done.
Musa Danko, especially because
Global Info Analytics.
Global Info Analytics, and especially his exit poll, not an exit poll, the very last one,
the last poll that he did.
Last prediction before we went into the polls. I'll try and fetch that, but you're still watching our continuous coverage of.
When it's interesting, because when you look at the polls that were conducted, right, we saw Professor Smart Sapong come out with his own poll. And according to Professor Smart Sapong's poll, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was there with about 49%, right? And that is not even 50%. And John Dramani Mahama, according to Smart Sapong, was languishing somewhere around 45%, right? But Musa Dankwa had been very, very consistent and consistently predicted that the NDC was going to win the election.
Yeah,
and he said it was going to be very, very decisive. And he also predicted that Nana Kwame Bediako was going to emerge as a third, because all the polls were showing to Nana Kwame Bediako being the third force.
And this poll, before the December 7 elections, this was on 29th of November, where he projected that John Dramani Mahama was going to win by some 52.2%, and they are going to dominate Parliament. He predicted a 41.4% for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And at the time, I think there was a lot of backlash, and there were some who suggested that, for instance, consistently we have seen that those who have come in second in the polls usually is between 45, 46, 47, around that range. So when he predicted a 41.4% percentage loss for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, there were people who questioned it and saying that, if you look at the trend, this is what it is. And so no value can be placed on this. But, and then there was also this other poll by Ben Efson.
There was Ben Efson who also predicted
51 for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
So Ben Efson, what happened?
Something percent.
So what happened with Ben Efson? What happened with Smart Sapong?
He said he would
What happened with, is it?
So Ben Efson says he will provide the details in January 2025 in his books.
Okay, well, then he should provide the details so that we get to know. So according to the Global Info Analytics poll, like you were mentioning, John Mahama was projected to have 52.2%, Dr. Bawumia 41.4%, Alan Tremantin 2.5%, and Nana Kwame Bediako with 3.0%, and the 0.9%, for the others. So it looks like Nana Kwame Bediako, like we were saying, has emerged as the third force, in the outcome of this election. But of course, we're still waiting for all the results to come out. When all the results come out, we will know, and we will see exactly how all of this is going to play out, or how all of this has played out. This is our live coverage of the EIB Election Hub. We're live on Facebook at GH1 TV and at Star 1035 FM. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitter. We are live on Star 103.5 FM. We are live on GH1 Television. And I believe we are live on Ago TV as well. And this is our live coverage. We have been bringing you this live coverage. We're also live on Empire 102.7 FM in Takoradi. And we've been bringing you the EIB Election Hub since Election Eve. Of course, since Friday evening, 6 p.m. when we started, we have been here giving you updates after updates, bringing you up to speed with regard to everything that is happening with the election. On election morning, we were here. We took you to all the constituencies and the various polling stations to find out how voting was going. We brought you all of those updates from our various correspondents all across the country. Right after voting ended, we brought you reports from our correspondents as well. When counting was underway at the polling stations, we brought you reports as well. And of course, when the ballot boxes got to the collation centers, we brought you reports as well. Now, the election is over. Dr. Bawumia has conceded defeat. John Mahama is president-elect. And we have brought that to you here on your EIB Election Hub. And we're grateful that you have continued to stay tuned in to the EIB Election Hub.
And is our continuous coverage of the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections here in Ghana. And Lantam and I have been with you since about 4 a.m. thereabout. And so shortly we'll be making way for Sewami here and the rest of the team to also come and take over from here till we decide to call it a day. On GH1 TV and Star FM, this is your election hub. Good afternoon to you, Sewa. How are you?
Good morning.
No, it's not afternoon yet.
Good morning. Okay, good morning. You're in a hurry now, Didi. You're in a hurry.
I am in a hurry.
Be calming down.
I am in a hurry.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How has your morning been for you? And we just saw the vice president conceding. Did it come to you as a surprise that he conceded at this time, especially when we haven't heard anything from the Electoral Commission?
I think that, surprised, no.
Okay.
With the way things were going, on social media, the followers of John Dramani Mahama and even he himself, and from the results that we here were even collating, it was quite clear and obvious that the NDC had won, both presidential and parliamentary. I am surprised at the delay of the Electoral Commission. I expected things to have gone faster than we are seeing, but I think that the timing was just right. There was no need to wait any longer. Wait for what? At the end, nothing is going to change, will it? So he did the very honorable thing and, the respect of many to come out this early, save a lot of us the stress and himself as well, and just let us know that from their own, there's one thing that he said, that from their own coalition, the NDC and John Dramani Mahama had won both presidential and parliamentary. So no surprises there at all. The timing was just perfect. I mean, if he had waited any longer, people have just dragged the thing that, you've already lost. Just concede defeat and let's move on with our lives.
Yeah.
But I think that the timing was just perfect.
And isn't, Lantam and I were talking about how, the EC had said that there were some people, delaying the process by deciding not to append their signatures to the pink sheets, among others. And without those signatures, you cannot send them. You cannot transmit the results to the EC's headquarters. And so with this speech, it's more of disarms. It will disarm any individual who feels that I don't want to let my flag bearer down by letting this result stand. And so with such a speech, it will disarm such individuals to let go, and then we can move on. And I think beyond everything else, it actually shortens the process for us journalists as well.
I know, right?
We're going to be sitting here waiting for constituencies to be coming in. When the EC says it hasn't received a single.
But it's disappointing that at this time there's no single result even from the regional level. It's very disappointing. It's very disappointing to the extent that the flag bearer of the NPP had to address the press, concede defeat, and still not even a single statement or results from the EC at that level is quite disappointing. And for me, these things feeds into the points that the NDC and the argument that they've been making the whole time, and even CSOs about the seeming incompetency of the electoral commission.
Election, mind you, in the last election, it took a while, and see the number of times that elections were declared.
And there's a lot of disinformation on social media, and that is why for the areas that it appears, decided or confirmed, the EC should have said something by now. Because people are throwing wrong information about on social media. And today you go on, this person has won, that person has lost, and the misinformation is just too much.
As of yesterday evening, I mean, I left here around 9 p.m. I went home to rest a bit and then came in again this morning. And, you know, from time to time, when I'm napping, I'll get up a bit and then I'd scroll through the internet. And I saw this particular handle on Facebook. Kept publishing false news.
Yeah.
And I said to myself...
Not just that handle. Now, you go on Twitter, and there are pages that have been created, even in existing pages, churning out false information, and you wonder why there's so much delay. Anyway, by the way, Lantam, Hassan Ayariga has sent a message to tell you that tell Lantam to stop saying the new force is dead. He should wait till the end. Okay. Hassan Ayariga of APC, good morning to you, by the way. And I am wondering why, Mr. Hassan Ayariga, you haven't been able to form the third force after all these years.
Mr. Hassan Ayariga, thank you very much.
So Lantam, wait.
Thank you very much for your question. I'm taking your advice. I'm taking it very well. I will wait for all the official results to come from the Electoral Commission, and then we will see who exactly the third force is. Mr. Hassan Ayariga of the All People's Congress, right?
Yes.
The All People's Congress has been sending it back. Thank you very much.
He says wait for the results. Anyway, so...
Yes. But per what we are getting, per the information that we are getting from our own collated results at the EIB election hub, the third force that has emerged is Nana Kwame Bediako. That is the results that we have. And the information we are picking from other sources, it appears that Nana Kwame Bediako is third. But let's wait for all to come.
There's a constituency that I want us to look at, that the delay is just causing unnecessary problems. That's Okankwe Central. Baba Sadiq and Patrick Yabuame's constituency. Because our correspondence there gives us these results that for presidential, Dr. Baumia, 18,785. John Mahama, 21,890. For parliamentary, Patrick Yabuama, 20,378. And Baba Sadiq, 18,000. But we see photos on social media of Baba Sadiq being crowded and declaring. And even I've seen a tweet from him saying, Okaikwe Central, change has come. No. You know, these are the things that will just cause unnecessary chaos and problems
and
in
it's
that
more worrying
area.
Because Calvin Powell had earlier reported from the Constituency Collation Center telling us that they had to run for their lives from the collation center in that constituency because thugs believed to be in support of Baba Sadiq stormed the collation center, destroyed electoral materials, projectors, furniture, what have you, even knocked down one of the election observers who had to be rushed to the hospital, we are told, and just caused mayhem. And even the security agencies that were there, even the police and other members of the election security task force who were there had to run. And according to Calvin Powell, who reported, he said they had to run for their lives because of the chaos that had erupted. And at the time that these thugs came in, it didn't appear as though Baba Sadiq was winning. Right? Because it appeared that those thugs were there because they were unhappy about how the election was going on. And then after that had happened and they had left the thugs there, now we are seeing on social media all of these tweets and posts, about Baba Sadiq winning, and all of that. We need to see what is happening in that regard.
Yeah.
And the EC needs to give us the accurate figures from that particular constituency with regard to
these days, if they had dealt with them speedily and we had the results, all these would have been resolved. Because I simply do not get it. And why will it take us so long to compute these things and give room for people to take advantage of the tension and create more chaos? And for the life of me, I do not understand how an individual who says, I want to lead you, I want to serve you, is the same person who has supporters who can, invade a polling station or invade a collation center and wreak havoc on the place. It does not make sense to me. So why do you want to serve the people?
At all. It doesn't make sense at all. And we have already said that the police should look at that. I believe by now the police may have swooped in because I believe the security agencies that were there would report the matter to the police, and the police may have sent reinforcements to make sure that they're able to deal with the situation. And any criminal who has engaged in any criminal activity during this election period should be made to face the full rigors of the law. Enough is enough with regard to some of these things that we usually witness during elections, where everybody wants to use some foul ways and means, to win an election or make an opponent lose. I mean, it's needless for us to lose lives. Yet another election has come, and some lives have been lost. The last election, we lost 8 lives. In this election, there are reports that we've lost how many? 2 or 3 lives, with many other people being injured. It is needless. It is uncalled for. It should not have happened in the first place. Why does it have to happen? That people get maimed, people, get gunshot wounds, and all of these things, just because you are supporting a candidate to go to parliament, and the person is even going to enjoy the largesse of the state, and you will be left languishing where you are. So the sooner as Ghanaians we understand that, the better for us.
Right. I don't know if, because you have been on earlier for a while, I think you have been some of the big ships that have come, that if you have lost,
Can you repeat the question?
No, I'm asking if you have looked at some of the big names that have come.
Yes. We have seen that.
Because Bafo has lost his seat in Sunyani West.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I didn't see it coming. I didn't,
because media still appear to be very strong in air, also West Wogo, in spite of everything. And Dom Kwabena.
I don't think Ellie Plim is as visible in the country.
No, Ellie Plim, to her credit, has been very consistent in the Dom Kwabena constituency. Even during the time of Sarah Joasako.
Okay, so is this her third time of trying?
This is her third time of trying. She has been very, very consistent. And I did not expect her to win. But she did a lot of work, because this time around, her campaigning in the Dom Kwabena constituency was pretty intense. It wasn't as compared to the 2020, it was pretty intense here. But I really didn't think she was going to.
Do you think if Sarah
had stood,
yeah, she would have won? I don't think so.
No, I think she.
No, I don't think she would.
Looking at it now, hindsight, I think she would have lost.
No,
I think Adjoa Safo would have lost, because, IB kept referring to something that when there is a wind of change, sometimes you cannot stop it.
You can't stop it.
The most unpredictable of places. Did you think that Henry Quarter was going to lose? I didn't see it coming either. And so it tells you the level of discontent.
You didn't even think how
and anger.
You didn't even think how our commission was going to lose.
Which governments most of the time paid little mind to, because they always thought that they had it in the bag. And so whenever the complaints came, then they would easily make reference to, in 2016, candidate, then president, but it tells that the people didn't want to hear that. A lot of times I hear people say, we voted you in to solve the problem.
Yeah, so
why are you complaining? Fix it.
I also believe that, the people that have come out to vote for Adjoa Safo, which are members of the Father's Church, were very unhappy, that Adjoa Safo was voted.
All right. So, it's interesting, and it's also unfortunate that, at a time where Michael Quay Jr. has become the parliamentary candidate for Dom Kwabena constituency, after trying and contesting Adjoa Safo in the primaries for such a long time. Michael Quay finally becomes the candidate, and in the first attempt, he loses the seat, which is an MPP seat held by his father, from his father to Adjoa Safo, and now he is the one who is there, and Dom Kwabena is gone.
Right from when I came on at about 6 p.m. on the election night, I had this conversation with Edem Kojo. We looked at the trend from 1996 when we started voting, and looked at how the incumbent always suffers when there's a low voter turnout. Now, I spoke with some of my contacts in the Ashanti region, right? And I asked, because I went to the Ashanti region, and I went to the Ashanti region and I had a conversation with Chairman Wuntumi. I asked Chairman Wuntumi how many votes they were anticipating from that region, and he said about 85%. I spoke with my contacts in the Ashanti region, and they say that the turnout was about 60%. That is absolutely insane, and that is shocking. That is shocking. Absolutely. And if you have that kind of turnout in the stronghold of the NPP, it means that what we are seeing was bound to have happened. And what we have also seen now, before you go, is that the NPP didn't, the NDC didn't increase in its votes that much, as much as we expected. But in the strongholds of the NPP, they lost. And that is what has given the NDC the victory that it has.
Do you think apathy also played a role? Because in the Ashanti region, there were issues of apathy, people not coming out to come and vote.
Their people didn't vote.
Probably could have been a problem.
Their people didn't vote.
So they didn't vote. Yeah, rather than go and vote for another party, we would rather just not vote. And that gives the NDC the edge.
Voter turnout in the Ashanti region was very low. People just couldn't be bothered. And you would have thought...
Isaac, sorry to cut you.
Sure.
He spoke to Isaac and he said at a certain point they had to go door to door to appeal to people to come and vote. And so that should tell you how upset the people were. And as much as they tried to whip up the sentiments of the people in the Ashanti region, it clearly showed you that they were not happy about how things were being done.
So that will be it for Nadede and I. We will take leave of you now. Sewami here is here. Bernice Abubedu Lansa is here as well. And our coverage of the elections continues.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nadede and Lantam. Thank you. I'm going to be on here with Bernice Abubedu Lansa until the EC probably decides to do the honorable thing and tell us what we are waiting to hear. Even though now, whatever it is that they decide to do, the work has been done, is it, Bernice?
Definitely. And in Dr. Bawumia's own words, he doubts that anything significant will happen because, as we know of the NPP, they are quite diligent when it comes to collation of results. And we saw that during the 2020 elections.
Yes.
They did it excellently. And so I am dead sure, as at midnight, they knew what was happening. And I think it's a very honorable thing that Dr. Bawumia did. Obviously, he did mention that there was tension, and that's why many of us have questioned why the EC, up till now, hasn't even given us one regional result.
Okay, Bernice, hold on. So you see on your screens, we have celebrations coming in from Bolga, some from Adabraka, where the NDC has got its headquarters. We see from Legon campus as well, Ayawasu West Wugon, where many people have been shocked to the bone at the win of John Seto Dumelo. I knew that John was going to do well, but I didn't expect him to win.
It was a close one because in the previous election, he lost by quite a slim margin considering the number of voters in that constituency, and also knowing that for a very long time it has been a seat for the NPP. Nevertheless, I believe a few incidents in the build-up to the election may have cost Lydia Al-Hassan a bit, and it has to do with the issue of special voting and the issue of alleged vote buying via sharing food.
You think so? Because for many people, the people are just angry, and the wind of change.
Yes, it's blowing across. Yes, but then again, when you appear to be in a close contest, anything can lose it for you, including appearing to be dishonest. And we know what happened to our own colleague here when he reported on that issue and there were confrontations and all that. So I think it could have been anybody's game, but John had the edge this time. And honestly, I think he's worked hard.
I agree too. I think he's worked really hard. One of the other constituents, surprised, but looking at the kind of work that Kosi did in that constituency, for her not to have won it means that the people are really angry at the government.
There's another theory to this, and it has to do with whether Cozy had the full backing of her party machinery. Because we know the relationship of the MP of the area to the second lady of the Republic, and you cannot sweep that under the carpet. I know that there are concerns about whether you put familial relations over party affiliations and all that. But the truth is, did Cozy have that full backing? There are those who believe that she had to single-handedly, even though she wasn't MP of the area, undertake projects, huge projects. I saw great, roads that were being graded and all that. Massive. I mean, this will typically sway any Ghanaian voter.
But Dennis, I mean, I get the arguments of whether she had the full backing of the party, but to a very large extent, I think that she did, because I mean, she's the in-law of Peter McMahon. She used to work at the office of the First Lady, and you could see a lot of them go there and support her when she was campaigning. I was shocked, to be very honest, that Cozy didn't win. Because like you said, even if she single-handedly did all the things, because some of the road constructions, the constituents were told that Cozy didn't lobby. She's funding them herself. Yes, there's the part where Abu Ramadan and, his relationship with the second lady, but we didn't also see the second lady openly campaign for her brother in that constituency. But we saw, but we saw the vice president and the flag bearer of the NPP go there and campaign with Cozy. And so at least, even if they don't mean it, they did it, and we saw it. It's very surprising.
The real shock is in this election, and let's talk about Eslo Yusuf. That is one that really shocked a lot of people. Henry Quartey. Let's talk about the big waves.
For Henry Quartey, we have the Voters Connect on the morning on GH today. We've been to all of these constituencies, even in the Ashanti region. In the Ashanti region, I'll come to Henry Quartey very shortly. The Asante Achim North constituency, we went to that place. Andy Apiakudi failed to show up upon our invitation. The NDC rep was there. The independent candidate, OK Frimpong, was also there. When I saw, in fact, the team and I saw the kind of support that OK had, we still said that, yes, he has the support, but Asante Achim North will never vote for an independent candidate. And then we see the results that the independent candidate won. We saw the same thing when we went to Henry Quartey's constituency. The people were agitated. In fact, we couldn't even complete the program. We had to leave because anytime a member or someone from his camp spoke, there was anger. There was so much anger. But even with all that anger, we walked away saying that there is no way Henry Quartey is going to lose that seat. But we're seeing all of these surprises, and they are huge surprises. Because who would have thought? This is a man who at some point was adjudged the best minister. Remember? And just like that.
Right. It tells, Sewa. I mean, this is an overwhelming victory for the NDC, and it definitely is a reflection of what the people feel and what they think about President Akufo-Addo's administration over the last 4 years. The question now is, what does this mean then for the NDC? If you have people come out to endorse your candidates this much, it puts a lot of pressure on you then. There's a lot of hope and expectancy, of the NDC and what they bring. But that will come much later after we hand over and all the processes are finalized. But
let's also look at Katie Hammond's constituency. Surprised?
Not really surprised. As people usually refer to him, Uncle Katie, he's an interesting character, isn't he? He's that politician who would poke a colleague's head. He just brings an interesting dimension to the whole parliamentary work. But it's been coming. It's been coming. Last 4 years was close for him. It's been coming. I don't know what it would have meant for the NPP if they had chosen another candidate. But I'm not entirely surprised by Katie Hammond's loss. No. There are those who believe that his ministerial role could have changed his fortunes. You know how ministers in a certain position are able to lobby at a certain level to get certain developmental projects undertaken in their constituencies. But it looked like it didn't work for him. The people were just tired.
I also think that even on the national level, people just wanted Katie Hammond to go because of some of his utterances, calling the youth lazy. Even his
coconut heads.
Yes, his demeanor for many people wasn't befitting of a member of parliament, not to talk of a minister of state. And so even though most of the time, look, it appears that nationally, a lot of the people that many thought had to go left. Look at Ursula. There are many who thought that she was arrogant and had to go. Same for Katie Hammond. I didn't see that coming for Henry Quartey, by the way. But for these two and Lydia Asiriam Al-Hassan, there was some sort of national agreement in a way that it was time for her to go. And she actually lost her seat. But, you know, Katie Hammond, I'm a bit surprised.
Right.
Yes, because, yes, you're right, it's been coming. But I thought that he was going to fight hard. You know, looking at how hard he fought when they were having their primaries.
Yeah, I saw a video of him calling on constituents to come out to vote. And again, that's the loss of the NPP. I'm sure when they realized what the voter turnout was in the Ashanti region, they knew it was a done deal for them. I saw posts from some of their activists on social media asking people to come out and vote, saying that the Greater Accra region had failed them and they were depending on their strongholds. And the strongholds didn't show up
at all.
So clearly, and you're right when you say that, the general economic and social conditions affected some of the NPP MPs in their constituencies. Because you are a member of the governing party. And so beyond our expectation of what you do for us as members of your constituency, there's also that expectation of what you contributed to my general well-being. What was the effort you put in either addressing our concerns nationally, on a national scale? I mean, people are tired. People just, you know, have had it. We've had it. You go on social media and it was clear. I don't know why the NPP didn't read the signs on the wall.
Okay,
Do you think they took it for granted?
That's what I want to come to now about social media and its impact on these elections. We discussed it at some point, you know, here at GH1 TV, but do you really think that there was that much of an impact? Because on social media, there was no way the NPP was going to stand a chance on social media. And it has materialized in real life. I saw people say elections are not won on social media. Go on the grounds and work.
Yes.
On social media, you could feel that people were tired of the government. They wanted a change. I went on the grounds. Many of us did. And no, I got a different feeling. You know, it appeared different, you know, so you think that, especially
the silent majority.
Yes.
Many people had kept their decisions in their heads.
You're right, because, and you know, the problem was that people just didn't vote. Even in the stronghold, especially of the NPP, which they were banking their hopes on. Because I believe that even as of yesterday, the running mate of the NPP was there, hoping to deliver the supposed 85% they had targeted, which didn't happen. The NPP in the Ashanti region didn't even get up to 70% of votes. You know, not to even get 75. They didn't get it. Because in 2020, they got about 72%. But they didn't even get to cross the 70 mark. And did they fail to pay attention? I think that they took it for granted. Because especially towards, you know, when it was inching closer to the elections, on the ground, they were getting a different signal. Because they organized these rallies and people show up, jubilate with them, dance with them. And they thought that the noise was only on social media.
But Ashanti was tricky. Remember that the MDC's John Mahama did, you know, in an interesting way.
Some shocking news from the Ashanti
but he did make fun of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia when he returned to Ashanti after he had gone there. I mean, that was a clear signal. The crowd in Kumasi for John Dramani Mahama was massive. it was highly indicative of what was going to come. And so he had to go back and work hard to gain more grounds. But it didn't work.
It didn't work. Yes. But, you know, it's also important to let our viewers know that the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, didn't get much votes, you know, so much in terms of his 2020 numbers. It wasn't so much. The NPP, however, reduced their votes so much. And, you know, that is what we are seeing, you know, showing in the wins of the NDC. So it's not like John Mahama got so much votes, but because the NPP lost so much votes and their people just didn't go out to vote. And so in the Ashanti, and I'm surprised because you know, all the videos that we were seeing, you know, it's only in this election that we have seen the flag bearer of the NPP go to the Ashanti region that much. Dr. Baumia was in the Ashanti region for 15 days. In fact, even more, over 15 days, the first time. He came back to Accra, went back there. His wife went there about twice or thrice. He was always almost in the Ashanti region, attending one event or the other. A day before, in fact, the day of the final rally of both parties, the NPP, Dr. Baumia, we're told, and we saw videos, was in the Ashanti region, went to see the Utum 4, and, you know, did what many will call his final groundwork. And then, what did the Ashanti region do? They didn't show up.
So let me take us back again to social media.
Right.
Because then again, a lot of the discontentment was channeled there. I saw people complain about the lack of infrastructure development in the Ashanti region. Social media was almost like the platform on which they could pour out their hearts without any reservations. And so you heard people talk about that fact. People also did speak about whether Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, whether he really added or took away from the fortunes of the NPP. And that's something that we need to really look at and analyze. Talk of his utterances, talk of his general demeanor as a running mate of a flag bearer.
Yeah.
And how that took away, whether we like it or not, took away from the fortunes of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia.
You know, speaking of the running mates, I remember when I went to the Ashanti region, I interviewed Chairman Mutui, and I asked him about the running mates, because obviously there's only one reason why they chose Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, because they needed him to deliver the Ashanti on Ashanti. But even on the day when he was unveiled, we all saw the things that he said. I asked him about his utterances, whether the party was happy about the way he was conducting himself, whether they thought that whatever plan they had was materializing, was working. He said that they were very happy with him, but on social media, yes, you could tell that people just thought that Napo wasn't a vice presidential material.
Right.
You know,
Assembly
as to
where there's food, you can talk about maize and what have you, and this is exactly what they are doing. And in that warehouse, you have vehicles. In there, you have food items that have been stored by the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly. But these jubilant NDC supporters broke into the warehouse here, and they've made their way into the warehouse. So you can see some trucks packed in there, and they are making away with whatever they can lay their hands on. The police moved in earlier to try and control the situation, but unfortunately, it appears they've lost control. So earlier, we understand that and confirmed that there have been some shots that were fired here, but we do not have the information as to whether it was some civilians who were firing or the police who were firing. But at present, we have a large number of the jubilant youth of the NDC who are here. Some are wearing party colors, others are not, and we have the military now moving their car into the assembly warehouse to try as much as possible to calm the situation. So this is what is happening here within the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly, directly opposite the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly. and this is what is happening live opposite the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly. This is what is happening. Unfortunately, due to the rush, someone has crashed into the metal gate that is there. The military are inside. Now, the NDC supporters, the youth, are making their way out of the warehouse. So this is a warehouse that is meant for the assembly, where they are keeping vehicles, and a number of items here. Well, the military, well, they are resisting one way or the other. They are resisting, and still they are making their way out. Well, so what is happening? What is happening?
It is our properties. But the government to you that you to sell to all people in this country, but you refuse. You refuse and can't be dead.
So that is why you are taking it forcefully.
Yes. You are suffering a lot. You are suffering a lot. Like how? Like how?
What are they here to do?
Like how?
The military, what are they here to do? Pointing guns at innocent civilians. What happened in Ayawa? So we are not going to tolerate it.
So why are the people making their way into the building and carrying the
forces? So they should know better.
So tell me, what is happening? What caused this whole situation? Why are you?
Personal. You should rather ask them what they are doing here.
You are picking stuff from the warehouse, and that is what they are saying. So I'm asking you to tell me, relax. Yes, so who does it? You tell me, who does it belong to? Are you a resident here?
I cannot answer that question. So if the staff are here on illegal ways, we will also take them in any way they want to take it. They cannot do anything.
So you are taking it illegally, is that what you are saying?
Illegally? Those properties belong to who?
We are taking our properties.
Okay, so that is the counter argument some of the youth are making. They are saying that, well, if the staff of the assembly, okay, so now some gunshots being fired. The soldiers or the army or the military are trying as much as possible to calm the situation, but unfortunately, in that warehouse, now you see quite a number of equipment being packed here, but we do not really understand why they made their way in here, picking whatever items that they can turn their hands on. So some warning shots, one has been fired again, and they are okay. So now they are throwing stones. So they are now throwing stones. They are outside and they are throwing stones. Some of them are trying to calm them. And so you see, they are throwing stones in there. So one has to be careful to ensure that he doesn't suffer any injury on the head. So that is what is currently happening here in the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly warehouse. So that is one of the warehouses over there, and the youth are still there, forcefully trying to take out whatever they can lay their hands on, so that the military are trying as much as possible to contain the situation, but it appears it is escalating and getting out of hand. So it appears some reinforcement would have to be made. So some of them are still here, and they are trying as much as possible to contain them. So I think that the situation, slow but sure, is getting under control, except that the youth are outside throwing stones. This is now what the situation is. The throwing of stones, I must say, may escalate the situation. Some of them are trying as much as possible to get their people out of the warehouse, but a few of them are still over there trying to get whatever they can lay their hands on. So that is some engagement there with the military officer, together with his colleagues, who are trying as much as possible to, okay, so another stone has been thrown, and the officer, if care is not taken, may fire. But the youth, some of them are trying to appeal to the military to be calm, not to also fire back, to rather escalate the situation. So the military vehicle is here. They've tried all they can to contain the situation. Still, some of them who made their way out are still back in the building. So it appears the military are driving out. It appears the military are driving out, but some of these things we understand is not really gunshot, but knockout from outside. Some of them are still outside jubilating, not necessarily firing gunshot, but some of the civilians who are outside are rather firing gunshots. So now the situation gradually is getting under control as some of the youth are trying as much as possible to get some of their colleagues to leave the premises. So live images that you're seeing on GH1 TV, and for those of you who are monitoring on social media, this is the live images of situation that is here. So you see some of them are trying to lock the gate to prevent others from making their way in there. So they're trying to talk to some of them to ensure that things does not escalate. So this is a situation, like I keep repeating, this is the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly warehouse, directly opposite the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly itself. And this is the situation here. So you see, they are trying as much as possible to lock the gate. Oh, unfortunately, a few again, well, stone are being pelted again into the building, and it appears those who are rather in here trying to calm the situation are rather being pelted with stones. Yes, so the gate is once again opened. The gate is once again open, and over there, those guys are pleading with the military not to open fire. They are pleading with the military not to open fire. The police, I must say, are also outside trying to contain the situation. Whatever triggered this particular situation, unfortunately, we do not really know, but I tried engaging a few of them who are also making some accusations to the fact that the staff of the assembly are taking the things. As to whether they are taking it or not, that we cannot confirm. But what the images you see on your television and on Facebook, YouTube, and X is showing you is to the effect that some youth are in the assembly warehouse of the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly, taking away bags of maize and what have you. That is my understanding, and that is what we can confirm, that the bags that they are making away with is actually contains maize. But why the assembly is keeping it there, we do not really know. And this equipment that you see, one may say maybe or just maybe it is meant for the drip project. That also may be likely the case, but that is the situation still here at the assembly warehouse. So the youth are back in there. The gate, it appears, cannot be shut as they keep, coming in. Some of them are trying as much as possible to drive them out of the premises, but they keep coming. And we expected that by now there should be reinforcement, especially so when the Northern Regional Police Command is just a stone throw away from where this particular incident is happening. So, Lantan Papanko, this is the situation here at the Assembly Warehouse, the Tamale Metropolitan Assembly Warehouse, and not a distance far is the Northern Regional Police Command. I'm wondering why reinforcement, the police are still not here to get these people out of this particular warehouse. There's some people may consider a clear case of looting, and if my camera could pan to this particular side, you realize that I don't know whether it is those people who broke into the building that actually disrupted or destroyed some of the things over there. I cannot really confirm whether they are those who did that, but over there, okay, so that door that they broke into has actually shut. You see? What are you covering? What are you people covering? So, boss. What are you covering here? What are you covering? Oh. Boss. What is the situation? Okay, so let me have this back. Boss, please. Let me have this back. Let me have it back. It's okay. Let me have it back. It's okay. Okay, so
So let me have it back. It's okay.
Okay,
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So what is your problem?
My problem is that we are trying to let the people move away from here, but we don't understand the reason why you people are.
All right. So he says that he's trying to get the people out of the premises. Unfortunately, it's here.
No, we are guiding you.
Okay, so unfortunately that has been the situation. Okay.
Are you the one to stop them?
Okay, so unfortunately this has been the situation. My camera technician unfortunately was attacked, but the military officer came to the rescue. So this has been the situation. So okay, so the military officer actually came to the rescue of my camera technician, who unfortunately was somehow attacked by the irate youth who made their way into this particular premises. So live pictures that you're seeing here from the assembly warehouse. So we keep calling if the police are monitoring. They should try as much as possible to be here. So unfortunately, when they came, okay, so they're asking us to stop. Alice.
Right, so that's our colleague Abdul Hanan reporting from Tamale. Yes. Very bad, terrible scenes there. This shouldn't be happening, you know?
Yes, and I'm wondering why he's being asked to stop filming. I mean, he's been covering this since it happened, telling us what exactly happened, and we've been trying to figure out exactly why these persons believed to be NDC supporters have broken into the warehouse at the assembly, moving away with stored food and other produce in the place. Now, we have to be careful. Even though Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has conceded defeat, it's still a very, just looking for the word, it's still a very delicate moment. We need to be careful. Why am I saying this? There are criminal elements who will take advantage of the situation, people coming out in their numbers to jubilate, wanting to foment trouble, wanting to create impressions of either party A or party B. So we need to be very careful, and I believe that the NDC officials are watching. If there is any way you could reach out to these people and find out exactly what's happening, and if they are indeed your supporters, just call them to order. But we still have some results trickling in, even though Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has come out to concede and accept that he has lost the 2024 presidential elections, and that's admit that they've also the parliamentary as well. We'll still bring you some of the results as we are picking from the Homeboy constituency in the Volta region. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia polled 8,526 votes, and John Dramani Mahama polled 36,739 votes. But so what is interesting, he didn't call himself the third force for no reason. He indeed has appeared to be the third force. Well, surprising, isn't it?
On that, you mean, well, on that, you know, earlier on the show, Mr. Hassan Ayarga sent a message that we should wait.
Talk to people. He wasn't able to do all those things. His best asset was money, and I had other things I could do. And most importantly, I had a very good team. The team were here to support me, to help me achieve, the victory we are looking for. They were not looking for money. They were looking for somebody they can that can lead them and help them also have a better future. And that is what we've delivered today. Look, there are basic things. They should expect somebody who will respect them, somebody who will work with them, somebody who will sacrifice to make sure that the right things are done. I will push and push and push to resolve all the problems, or most of the problems in the constituency for all of them.
Is our Madrid constituency, and we know we have won.
So you
have won more than we are leading Domprel 1,000 votes, and he should know better.
Okay, so I just have a few questions for you. Here in Sam Madrid constituency, this St. Martin's secondary school, you believe that they are trying to rig the election for Frank and Domprel?
And we have got some people that bring in the patient. 5 of people, they are now in the police custody. They are now in the police custody.
So some patients have been brought here?
Yes, and we have them. We have our evidence.
Okay, but you said also earlier that some military persons entered, and you don't believe they are military.
Fake military. Okay. They are fake military personnel.
Okay, and there were gunshots as well. Why were gunshots
They
fired
want the
in the
people
air?
to scatter because of they want to steal us, and we are not agree.
Okay.
We can't agree, and we will not agree. I'm telling you, fat and there again.
Okay, is your candidate currently around? Because Frank Domprel just came to the premises. Is Salam also around?
Our candidate is here since 5 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
Up to now, he's still in there. What we want is to declare him winner, and we can live here. Okay. And if it's not declared, we are not moving from here.
I'm a Ghanaian, and I love luxury accredited faith, and I love democracy.
December 7th, Ghana is voting.
Only peace. Peace, I give it to you all.
I love Ghana.
Peaceful election before, during, and after.
One Ghana.
Peace. Peace to everybody.
One Ghana. Ghana Bakumpe.
This message brought to you from the luxury accredited faith.
yakeka bia ana je yenso yakọ na yakọ dan ne ho na esan ba nti fi sabri yakọ yete ha ye bo ha se postpaid meter no aje say electoral commission declare ni nyina na de odi nkunim no ese asemasi no man Ghana ye de tumi ama ne se wo meye mampani enmahwebudwafo nso dodo nie na fi yenso ye ne mo edi nkra na not until then de I dey here Kwaku and Madru also there here. Very soon, Abinache Bafo, Abinache Mwache will also day here. But when you watch it, she will also day here.
And I come to the Brofuneja.
I come to the Bibia
Boko na ye be say ahwefo nso say ye nya mumu na bi na fi na ntokwa na do so nti
oxygen
wonya yi okobo results bi na nya papa nso na akwa so dia so foforo ba yidi say ade achi de ade asem foforo na aba nti ye kona yakwa akohwe yakwa akobo akiri say asomdwe aba na fi yato aso na ye ne mo ache ye ba beto abai na de oman Ghana ma ebo ho mpa ne say ye denya akukwa tefra hwe ase wanda ya obebutu ti ba ko bedi nkunamum na de oman Ghana ma esre ya asomdwe twitwitwi kakra ba babgidi se yakoda so ade achi de ye ne motena ya akopem no nan bremu na etwa ye ho yaba yakoda ade achi dem gidi se ye bekọ centers no enya ne ntie se witi se ayewa so central gidi se yate se abotraba ma yisi parliamentary no we declare other areas nso o ma declare antino ye be kone akwa akire parliament no ebe ye dodo esanse eno de constituency wa na ewie presidential no ene no so ye twense mpanifo be bo akire na ye ntini nyina amamu nche ye be kwa ahoma so na yasom mo se de despite media decision time ye no afibia ye no ye nyamumu ye be som mo se de atie bia na mumu du ba bia na kasa yesi wona no wo bronso ntubon de bi ho efata ohina no ebi nso fata chiamia no ti de fata chiamia no ne ba bedi ho chiame ne de amamu de fata ohina no na yisi no so ba beka na bibia akopepebe ntiaja so bi wa homa no so ana so mu so yes yen call of your peer ho ewo kwesimin team na yemi say so far how far love you machi o
yeah.
Oh, love ya. Oh, voice and to me, I love one of you.
I'm a failure. The voice is to me, I love it, but
Kafra. Never be able to.
But I'll be able to.
How is Kwesimin team?
But Kwesimin team, you will call assets and dry your call a pro. Bibia na yinde na edibegu ewo collation center na edibegu ye no NSS omode figures ni na edemahe now according to parliamentary no aye honorable Prince Hamid Ama enya 13,317
me patch of hold on answer o say parliamentary no aha meba no nyabre na why parliamentary no NPP right
NPP
okay NPP your friend is saying
Honorable Prince Hamid Ama
okay Fred Hamid
Prince Hamid
Prince Ama. Oh Prince okay Prince Hamid Ama okay okay
18,317
18,000
13,000 13 317
okay
and honorable lawyer Fifi Buckman is 15,927
okay Fifi Buckman
that's right
okay ono nya saying
15,927
15,927
that's right
okay
and independent
okay
the first minister
okay
and 1,835
okay all right okay that's Kwesimin team
but presidential also honorable Mohammed Baumia and 14,319 14,319
okay
and John Dramani Mahama Senior 15,000 449
449
okay
Kwesimintim. Okay. All right. Anti-Semitic we are parliamentary no Kwesimintim Honorable Prince Hamid Ama enya 13,317. And Honorable Fifi Buckman enya 15,927. All right. And independent enya 1,825. See about presidential Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia enya 14,319. And His Excellency John Dramani Mahama sunya 15,449. And today is a question NDC and a presidential.
Yes,
and parliamentary. Okay. One and incumbent MP.
But Honorable Prince Hamid Ama.
And to returning the seat.
NPP, no.
Okay,
we're
losing the seat. Okay, 50 back my baby Jeff in some. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's a pa. We mo kopaka kadru bi fa minimum mama wate. Aha. Yeah, kwaku. Say Kwesimintim
we are rematch.
Rematch wo hu. Wo mi na san
2020 no yet no 2012.
Aha.
Now we share historical way na Kwesimintim 2012 MPP ne win here 15,200.
Okay.
Over 2016 MPP ne win here 20,400. Over 2020 MPP ne win here 24,000.
Okay.
And
I know your parliamentary and
parliamentary na me no okay.
Okay.
Over never me say rematch no. The winning the one lose no Prince Hamid Ama incumbent no.
On your 24,759.
Yes.
Okay.
And Backman Philip Fifi no. NDC no on the coy. Sa I can see no benya 13,385.
Okay.
No 35%.
Okay.
Enti Samuel Kobinan no wamba and independent. But it was clearly na a rematch.
Okay, a
rematch omienui.
Kwaku may share vote difference Prince Hamid Amana MP no. The incumbent MP no. Enya 24,000. And 50 back one so enya 13,000 or they almost 11,000 and the channel.
Yeah.
But the year 2024 MP no enya 13,000 this an abandon so about 11,000 now or DBT 50 no 11,000 you will lose nyina
sir onya when lose 11,000
15,000 votes 15 into 15 now appreciate about 2,000
by 2,000 and over. And we know so 11,000 it's a voter party na ye kano
and na affected
be so no because so here amanfo MP ankoto aba because sa year no na enipa eto aba e wo ho no valid vote no na 38,516 and omo register yankasa 54,000 voter turnout then was 72,000 so o share 54,000 crowd. I'm sure if we have a count this time because we are 2020. It's all here no now here numbers here by idea. Now voter party no so constituency no a big can. In as much say Philip Backman o win here no the vote we be can ho no. The lose here no so to say previous election no numbers onya now here CC enyo be fufu no no an dey na say there was a problem.
There was a problem. BBC because vote now lose here no. Margin so 11,000 they are so too much. So Pantina say no. Next is Kwesimintim NDC Ababeji City no and the free MPP insem.
Say no more chat no for parliamentary na be green. Because any green that. All the time blue na here.
Wo share baby etumi ko green kakra no e ko soro no 2020 election no.
2020 I don't know 13